Yang Shang and his investigation unit were in the Rongchang subway tunnel. They had just endured an attack from a horde of rats, causing considerable losses to the soldiers, but they continued to push forward with great difficulty. Finally, they discovered a group of zombies sound asleep in the subway. However, when they caught the scent of living humans, the zombies suddenly opened their eyes and got up from their slumber. The entire subway section from one end to the other seemed packed with zombies, possibly numbering in the tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands. This evoked a feeling that all the dead in Tianhai City had seemingly been drawn to the subway by the Zombie King and transformed into these terrifying zombies. Tong Hu suddenly tensed, thinking to himself, this number is basically unbeatable, then shouted the order, fall back quickly. Run now, don't look back. Tong Hu threw a powerful punch, igniting a fierce fire that burned the group of zombies in front of them. But behind them, a large horde of zombies pushed forward wildly. They fought back with the strength of their weapons, slowing the advance of the zombies. Tong Hu shouted loudly, the scale this time is many times greater than previous attacks. We cannot fight, we can only retreat for now. Tong Hu and his team felt their scalps tingle when they saw the number of zombies before them far exceeded their imagination. Even though they had prepared themselves mentally, they still felt dizzy when truly faced with it. Tong Hu yelled, quickly fall back, use ammunition to hinder them for a while, run towards the nearest subway exit, hurry. But at that moment, a soldier using a flamethrower suddenly widened his eyes and pointed at the large darkness in front of him. What is this? Not just him, all members of the investigation team also saw the gigantic figure appear behind the wall of fire. It stepped through the raging flames, revealing a massive head 3 times the size of a normal human head. The soldiers in front were immediately torn apart. Even Tong Hu and several mutant persons felt deep despair upon seeing it. We are really in trouble this time, they thought. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi and his team continued to pursue the group of zombies, advancing down the tunnel filled with blazing fires. They wore fireproof suits, so they were not affected by the flames and the piles of ashes from the zombie corpses. The zombies were gradually retreating, and their numbers were decreasing. As they moved through the tunnel, they unexpectedly arrived at a vast area, a transfer station. Zhang Yi then understood why the disbandment speed of the zombies was so rapid. This was a transfer station where zombies could quickly move to other corridors. Chun Lei looked around desperately and said, this is a hassle. With the existence of the transfer station, we can't determine the exact location of the Zombie King. So where do we go now? Zhang Yi responded, but I have a feeling. His sharp gaze scanned the surroundings. That thing is not far from us anymore. Just as his words were still echoing, heavy footsteps began to resonate from the tunnel as if treading on corpses, advancing towards them. The sound reverberated in the dark tunnel, seemingly coming from all directions, making it impossible for them to accurately guess what was approaching and how many there were. Zhang Yi exclaimed, be careful, something very big is coming. Deep within the subway tunnel, suddenly a low and ominous sound arose from all sides, a large dark figure gradually emerging. Zhang Yi and his team grew serious, realizing that the sound seemed to carry a terrifying monster escaping from its prison. In the darkness, a tall and gaunt figure could be seen, resembling a giant creature, slowly approaching them. Zhang Yi became serious, quietly wondering, could this be the Zombie King? The words Zombie King brought immense pressure to everyone. Zhang Yi clearly saw its face and his pupils instinctively contracted. It was not the shape of a human, but a creature with a human form, its whole body covered in a layer of hard, ancient bronze skin. In the gloomy darkness, the giant creature appeared, standing at least 3 meters tall, its long arms nearly touching the ground. Its body was completely devoid of excess fat, only comprised of grotesque, dark red muscles covered by the hard, ancient bronze skin. Liang Yu shouted, there's one over here too. Zhang Yi's group had barely recovered from their surprise when 3 similar monsters appeared from 3 different directions. Zhang Yi was panicking inside and immediately realized that there must be a grand conspiracy behind this. Could these things have been mass-produced? There was no way they could appear naturally. He was even more certain that the appearance of the zombies was not a coincidence, and that there must be some intentional factor involved. Uncle Wang asked, Zhang Yi, what should we do now? Zhang Yi replied coldly, we can only fight now. Since they were in a large area, Zhang Yi's spatial teleportation skill could not reach its full effectiveness. Liang Yu drew her sword ready to fight. Zhang Yi carefully instructed Liang Yu and Hua Hua, stay close to me, don't stray too far. Liang Yu nodded, understanding that Zhang Yi needed to protect them while fighting. Hua Hua said nothing more, remaining close to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi continued, currently we are outnumbered, so we need to maintain our unity. To catch the bandits, we must catch their leader first. He told everyone that they needed to deal with these 4 special zombies first, while the other zombies could be handled later. Understood, everyone replied. At that moment, the zombies began to move. The four special zombies let out terrifying roars, causing the underground corridor to shake. The zombies behind also moved along, emitting ear-piercing growls. The group of zombies suddenly charged towards Zhang Yi's team with strong determination, lacking any intelligence and operating solely under the orders of the Zombie King. Their overwhelming numbers, along with the large monsters running beneath them, made everyone feel anxious. Uncle Wang and Chun-Li were tense, their hearts racing, but their hands continued to unleash fierce flames from the flamethrower, incinerating the zombies and the large monsters. However, the zombies did not retreat, but instead ran into the flames, like committing suicide in their attack on Zhang Yi's team. Even in death, they wanted to rush towards Zhang Yi and his companions, as ordered by the Zombie King. In the darkness, Liang Yu swung her sword like the moonlight, dancing swiftly and gracefully. Since absorbing the superpower of the hunting dog, her strength had increased significantly. The sword blade emitted a blinding light, creating a chilling aura more than 3 meters long, tearing the zombies to shreds. One of the armored zombies opened its giant hand, grabbing another zombie next to it and throwing it towards Zhang Yi and his team. Other armored zombies followed suit, continuously hurling zombies at Zhang Yi from above. This type of attack made it difficult for everyone to handle. Keeping calm, Zhang Yi opened the portal above, causing all the zombies to fall into the superpower space without harming anyone. Seeing this, the four armored zombies were momentarily stunned, but quickly charged out from the throng of zombies, heading straight for Zhang Yi and his group. Chun-Li was pale with fear, powerless on the ground, unable to use his superpower abilities, forced to rely on the flamethrower in his hand to continue fighting. Angrily, he unleashed flames at maximum capacity towards the armored zombies. However, despite the terrifyingly high temperature of the fire, when it hit the bronze-colored skin, it inflicted no damage, not even leaving a mark. The armored zombie was engulfed in flames but continued to advance. It extended its gigantic hand, grabbing several other zombies and throwing them towards Chun-Li. At this moment, the armored zombie had moved very close, instilling fear in Chun-Li, causing his movements to falter. When the armored zombie approached, Zhang Yi extended his arms, eventually using his secret defensive skill to create a space gate. These two gigantic space doors blocked the progress of the zombies from both directions, preventing them from attacking their group. However, this also prevented Zhang Yi from dealing with other attacks. In this vast area, there were still many zombies and 2 other armored zombies coming from different directions. Uncle Wang said irritably, "Damn, there must be a Zombie King commanding from behind. Unfortunately, if we can't eliminate these zombies, how can we kill the Zombie King?" At that moment, Zhang Yi's calm voice rang out, "Don't panic. In times like this, we must stay calm and observe carefully. We will definitely find the Zombie King. It is nearby, I can feel it." Although the situation was very dangerous, Zhang Yi understood that as long as they could handle the Zombie King, everything else would be easier to resolve. Most of the zombies had been blocked by him using the space gate, and the remaining ones would be dealt with by Liang Yu and her team. Uncle Wang activated his superpower, transforming into a person over 2 meters tall, charging straight at an armored zombie, causing a powerful collision. The armored zombie, despite its larger size, was still overpowered. After the two collided, it was temporarily hard to determine a winner, like 2 heavyweight wrestlers competing. The power was easily evident, although the armored zombie possessed superior strength and physique. Its combat skills were clumsy, executing only simple moves. Compared to Uncle Wang, who had served in the military and trained in martial arts for many years, his combat skills far exceeded those of the armored zombie. Meanwhile, the armored zombie was being blocked by Liang Yu with a sword in hand. Liang Yu's sword emitted a brilliant golden light shimmering in the air. Before the armored zombie could react, a wound appeared on its chest. The bronze armor of the zombie showed a deep tear, and immediately thick dark red liquid began to ooze out. The armored zombie took 2 steps back while Liang Yu stepped back 5. Both of them displayed expressions of surprise. Liang Yu did not expect that despite using all of her strength in one strike, she could only tear the surface flesh of the zombie and not split it in half. The zombie seemed to show a hint of fear in front of Liang Yu's cold gaze, but it still charged forward without hesitation. Its large hands opened, with long claws sharp as swords emitting a chilling light. Liang Yu exclaimed, "This monster is indeed very difficult to deal with." At that crucial moment, Zhang Yi said to Hua Hua, "Hua Hua, go help Uncle Wang." He reminded her, "Hua Hua, do not bite the zombie with your mouth to avoid infection." Zhang Yi looked in that direction, his right eye gradually radiating with a concentrated white light, then becoming sharp. Zhang Yi shouted loudly, "Liang Yu, get back." Liang Yu seemed to sense something and suddenly jumped back, creating space for Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi cried out, "Divine power." Immediately, the space in front of him distorted abruptly. Suddenly, A vast area of space exploded like popcorn, scattering pieces of flesh everywhere. Even the armored zombie, with its terrifying defensive capability, had its upper half obliterated, leaving only its two legs standing on the ground. This was Zhang Yi's most powerful attack skill at the moment, Divine Power. After Zhang Yi used Divine Power, at least around 400 to 500 zombies, including the armored zombie, were taken down with just one strike. Suddenly held a flamethrower and rushed towards the zombies, bursting into laughter. Ha 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 ha! Let's see how I roast you with my toys. He wielded the flamethrower and began moving forward, proudly shooting flames and continuing his high-temperature grilling. This was the first time Liang Yu witnessed Zhang Yi's divine power up close. Previously, Zhang Yi had used this ability on the battlefield, but only to assassinate a mutant person from the opposing faction. Liang Yu was still in shock as she saw Zhang Yi use divine power. She stared at him and exclaimed, "Your strength now is truly terrifying. I believe there are no mutant persons left in Tianhai who could withstand one of your divine power strikes unprepared." Zhang Yi simply smiled gently. "That is just a basic operation for me." However, he then carefully observed his surroundings and continued. "At this moment, it is still too early to relax. I believe that our true enemy is probably very close, and I am waiting for his appearance. These armored zombies, although they seem smarter and stronger than regular zombies, are definitely not the Zombie King. If we do not find the Zombie King today, then this campaign cannot be considered a complete success, because eliminating more zombies, including the powerful armored ones, cannot prevent the Zombie King from creating more minions." As soon as Zhang Yi finished speaking, zombies began to gather from the two unblocked directions. From deep within the tunnel, the familiar heavy footsteps echoed, and 3 armored zombies appeared from 2 different directions. They stood there with cold eyes, calmly staring at Zhang Yi's group. Their shapes resembled gigantic, twisted, and menacing insects that instilled fear. Zhang Yi broke out in a cold sweat, thinking, "Why are there so many monsters? Just how many are there?" The divine power of Zhang Yi consumed a lot of energy and had terrifying power, but with his current energy level, he could only use it continuously 5 times. However, after each use, a certain amount of time was needed to recover. If many armored zombies continued to launch their attacks, then, with their current combat strength, countering would be extremely difficult. Chumley was so scared that his legs nearly buckled, causing him to almost fall to the ground. He exclaimed, "It's over. What should we do now? Are we really going to die here?" Chudley screamed in fear, but the zombies didn't give them time to think. Just after a moment, 3 armored zombies, along with a large group of other zombies, rushed forward. Zhang Yi's gaze also became heavier. He sighed softly to himself. It turns out the danger from the zombies this time is more serious than we imagined, and the entity behind it is even more terrifying. Even I find it difficult to easily end this battle. He saw that everyone was about to be surrounded by an even more terrifying wave of zombies. At that moment, Zhang Yi shouted loudly to Uncle Wang and Hoa Hua, "Hurry back." The armored zombies had been shattered into tiny pieces by Hoa Hua and Uncle Wang's coordinated attack. After they were defeated, their arms and legs no longer moved. This was different from the other zombies. Zhang Yi noted this. It seemed that the armored zombies were a type of real creature, not the kind controlled by a virus. A person and a cat heard Zhang Yi's call and quickly returned to his side. At this time, Zhang Yi retracted his space portal skill. From all directions of the corridor, zombies continued to rush towards them with a furious roar. Zhang Yi opened a door in front of him and said to everyone, "Follow me." After finishing his words, Zhang Yi was the first to step through the door. Everyone was a bit surprised, but quickly, they followed Zhang Yi into the spatial door. As the zombies rushed forward, they stumbled into the air, not understanding why their target had suddenly vanished without a trace. Deep in the tunnel, the echoes of their angry roars reverberated, making people feel terrified. Just a moment later, several dozen meters away in the tunnel, Zhang Yi's group suddenly appeared from underground onto the snowy surface of the subway tunnel. Zhang Yi gently patted his chest, still looking frightened as he exclaimed, that was really terrifying. It really scared me to death." He took a breath of cold air to regain his composure. Although he knew that he wasn't in great danger, the scene he just witnessed was like watching a 3D horror movie, still leaving him feeling scared. If it had been someone else instead of him, the outcome would surely have been very bad. Liang Yu and several others also emerged from the spatial door. They looked at the scene outside, initially surprised, then seemed to understand something. Liang Yu curiously asked, "Zhang Yi, is this your new ability?" Zhang Yi calmly replied, "It's not exactly a new ability. I've just gained a little more understanding of how to use the spatial door. Previously, Zhang Yi could only open a spatial door in a simple manner, but now his abilities have become stronger. Finally, he is able to open a second door, creating a passage through space within a range of 300 meters. For this reason, he dared to venture deep into the subway tunnel, a place fraught with danger. Chun-Li was so frightened that he sat down on the ground, panting, "Brother Zhang, if you have this kind of ability, why didn't you say so earlier? I almost died of fright just now." Zhang Yi laughed and said, his tone lighthearted, "I just wanted to give you all a little surprise." Zhang Yi has always kept his superpower abilities a secret, even from his teammates. This is not out of suspicion, but because he is cautious, always avoiding the disclosure of personal information, viewing it as a survival rule. The expression on his face gradually became more serious. However, from the beginning, I didn't think that this kind of ability would actually be effective. This zombie outbreak is much more complicated and frightening than we imagined. I still can't figure out how this outbreak will play out. When he said that, everyone fell silent. If it weren't for Zhang Yi's new ability with the terrifying number of zombies they just faced, even if their team was 3 or 5 times larger, they could have lost their lives right there. The number of zombies exceeded their imagination. Uncle Wang spoke up. "So what should we do now? If we can't deal with these zombies all at once, we'll have to face their relentless attacks, including the armored zombies that terrify anyone who sees them." Zhang Yi pondered, looking up at the sky filled with falling snow. Despite the cold, the scene did not evoke feelings of despair or danger. He took out a pack of cigarettes from his space, lit one, and took a deep drag. Everyone refrained from interrupting, knowing that Zhang Yi was deep in thought. After a while, he slowly said, "No matter what, we must solve this problem quickly. We can't let the zombies have a chance to grow, because they are truly terrifying." Liao Yu asked, her face full of doubt and not very optimistic, "Do you have a solution?" After a moment of contemplation, Zhang Yi regained his spirits and handed a cigarette to Chun-Li. Chun-Li didn't smoke, and neither did Liao Yu. In the end, only Zhang Yi and Uncle Wang each had a cigarette. Zhang Yi said to everyone, "If the goal is to deal with this horde of zombies, it's actually not as difficult as I thought." He no longer held back and shared his ideas. "At the moment, I have a plan. The railway area here is not too complicated, with only one line passing through, and the zombies usually lie dormant in the tunnels. This virus is sensitive to the cold. They cannot survive in cold weather. Therefore, when the zombies are in hibernation, we can infer that they are all hiding in the tunnels." He paused, his eyes lighting up. "We don't have enough explosives to completely destroy the railway line, but there is something even more useful than explosives." Everyone looked at Zhang Yi, eagerly asking, "What is it?" Zhang Yi took a deep breath, his gaze directed towards the distant southeast, that is the sea. The freshwater river had completely frozen, unable to provide a sufficient amount of water. However, the seawater, with its high salt content in the deep sea areas, had not frozen entirely. He explained that he needed to move to the deep sea area, using his spatial superpower to extract a large amount of seawater, which would then fill the entire subway tunnel. Hearing Zhang Yi say this, everyone's eyes immediately lit up. Liao Yu clapped her hands and exclaimed, "Wonderful. This trick is really clever." She continued, "Sitting down on the subway tunnel is just a one-way passage. As long as the entrance to the station is blocked, it will turn into a ravine seal at both ends. Your spatial superpower can contain a lot of seawater, enough to fill the entire tunnel. With such a depth of the tunnel below ground, the rats and zombies inside would surely be drowned by the water. At the very least, this could solve most of the problem. If the Zombie King is still alive, it would likely end up in a half-alive, half-dead state. In the worst-case scenario, they would no longer be able to hide in the tunnel." Liao Yu's explanation made Uncle Wang and Chun-Li excited as well. This was like finding a life-saving straw in a desperate situation, helping them solve the imminent danger. Chun-Li excitedly got up from the ground. "Is it possible that Zhang is still Zhang? Your superpower is truly incredible, becoming the best weapon against zombies right now." Uncle Wang expressed his admiration. "I feel that the smartest person is still Zhang Yi. Although each of us has superpowers, Zhang Yi is the one who makes the most effective use of them." Hua Hua, beside him, let out a cry in agreement. Zhang Yi only faintly smiled. "This plan is just my initial idea, but implementing it requires a lot of preparation. Moreover, there is an important issue that I need to go back and discuss with the professional technical staff." He took out the sled from the superpower space. "Let's go! The sooner we put this plan into action, the better. We must speed things up and not let those zombies continue to grow." At the Yangsheng-based, Xiao Hong Lion sat at her desk, resting her chin on her hand, her expression heavy. Beside her, huge King Ting was also silent, looking contemplative. Recently, the zombie investigation team they sent out had entirely perished. Xiao Hong Lion placed the communicator in front of her, watching the last video from Tong Hu of the team through the communicator. In it, she saw the terrifying number of zombies lurking deep in the subway tunnels, along with creatures resembling gigantic rats. What worried her the most was the large and bizarre armored zombies, resembling stick insects with fighting power that raveled nude persons. Huge King Ting said anxiously, I did not expect that there were monsters like these underground. If they burst out, even with full armament, we would not be able to stop them. Huge King Ting suggested, should we consider moving underground? This suggestion meant giving up everything on the surface, including the gigantic oil refinery. Xiao Hong Lion frowned. That's impossible. If we lose the oil refinery, we will lose our basic lifeline. No matter how high the price, we must protect the refinery. Huge King Ting continued. But if those creatures really attack fiercely, will we still have the ability to fight back? A cruel look appeared in Xiao Hong Lian's eyes. Then let's pour the crude oil in the storage around the refinery. She slammed her hand on the table, deciding, as long as the zombies come, we will ignite the crude oil and burn everything to the ground. This decision was certainly a significant risk, but it was also an inevitable sacrifice. As long as they could protect the refinery, the remaining crude oil would be enough to sustain their lives for a long time. A powerful method, like cutting off a warrior's arm, left Huge King Ting in silence. However, at present, they had no better defense method. After all, they were still not ready to completely give up everything on the surface to hide in underground shelter. Huge King Ting said, if so, we should let the soldiers down to the ground first. That way, if something goes wrong, at least there will be people below to support. Xiao Hong Lion leaned back in his chair, sighed. Just as you said, let's go ahead. Seeing shifts to Zhang Yi, as he and his teammates returned to their hideout, Zhou Kai-ni and a few others come to greet them. Immediately, they noticed the lack of enthusiasm on Zhang Yi and his group's faces. The women in the house quickly realized that Zhang Yi's actions this time seemed to be unfavorable. Zhou Kai-ni anxiously asked, is something wrong? You have encountered trouble, haven't you? Zhang Yi maintained a gentle smile. We did indeed face a little trouble, but it's not a big issue. Fighting out there is our mission. I don't want to put pressure on the women at home. Whether it's Zhou Kai-ni or Yang Mai, they are all logistics personnel and have completed their part. The fighting can be left to me and my teammates. When returning home, Zhang Yi didn't want to carry too many negative thoughts. Family is the most important place for them right now. Liu Keiran pushed Yang Xin closer to Zhang Yi, immediately sensing the strange atmosphere. The expression on Zhang Yi's face was gentle, but his deep gaze held seriousness. Yang Xin smiled and approached. Zhang, how did this operation go? Although knowing there might have been a problem, Yang Xin still wanted to understand the situation to be of help. Zhang Yi looked up, smiled, and waved to Yang Xin and Zhou Kai-ni. Come here, I have an important issue I need your help with. Yang Xin and Liu Keiran exchanged surprised glances. It was rare for Zhang Yi to ask for their assistance. Yang Xin smiled. Zhang, feel free to ask whatever issue you have. Zhang Yi said, here's the thing. I have an idea and need your help. I need a method to quickly freeze a large volume of seawater. Do you have any suggestions? He wanted to pour seawater into the subway tunnel, aiming to prevent the zombies from spilling out. The best approach would be to first gather seawater into a superpower space and then find a way to freeze it rapidly. When the seawater poured into the tunnel, it would freeze, turning the entire tunnel into a giant block of ice. This would freeze all the zombies and large rats inside. With a thick layer of ice up to 10 meters, only exceptionally powerful zombies could escape, while ordinary zombies could not. Liu Keiran thought for a moment and asked, there is a way, we just need to prepare some chemicals to quickly freeze seawater. But how much seawater do we need to freeze, Mr. Zhang? Zhang Yi replied, a huge amount. I need to freeze the entire 20-kilometer stretch of the subway. Liu Keiran contemplated and then responded, actually, if we have enough time to prepare, this is not too difficult. Upon hearing Liu Keiran's answer, Zhang Yi's eyes immediately brightened. If we can do it, that would be great. In terms of time, we're not too rushed. As long as we can stop the zombies from growing and prevent this threat to the shelter before they become stronger, then that will be a success. Liu Keiran sighed in relief. That's good. With just a few simple chemical materials, we can quickly freeze the seawater. We can use supplies from the former chemical factory. For me, this is just a minor task. It's just a bit of basic chemistry knowledge. Zhang Yi happily sat up straight. Great. If so, let's start preparing right away. This afternoon, we will take action and go collect seawater. Time waits for no one. The sooner we solve this problem, the more at ease everyone will be. After a long journey, they finally reached the shoreline. The vehicle stopped at what used to be a sandy beach. Everyone got out of the car and looked ahead, where the white ice surface stretched out vast and boundless, making them lost in thought. The grand and magnificent scene allowed them to deeply feel the stirring. If it weren't for the fact that the world had turned into an apocalypse, they might have taken some beautiful photos to celebrate the beauty of nature. The vast ocean extended to the horizon, and the surface of the sea seemed to be entirely covered by ice. The sea surface near the border looked like a shiny mirror. Lan Yu couldn't help but praise, "So beautiful. Is this truly a marvel of nature?" Uncle Wang also expressed surprise. Compared to this place, the ice surface in winter at Menta is nothing more than a tiny grain of sand. Zhang Yi reminded everyone, now is not the time to admire the scenery. We need to drive to another area to find a water source. They all got back in the vehicle and continued their journey along the coastal border. After more than 2 hours of driving, they had covered over 200 kilometers on the ice surface. Only high-end snowmobiles have the capability to accomplish this. If it had been the modified vehicle from the Yangsheng base, they might have had to stop midway. Finally, at the edge of the sea and horizon, they saw bubbles of water. Chunlei excitedly pointed ahead and shouted, "Brother Zhang, water, I see water." When seeing the water, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Yi said to everyone, "Hurry to that place. After we handle the water, we will leave immediately." In this vast sea, the feeling of anxiety in its heart grew deeper. In this situation, unforeseen events could occur. Although he was currently the #1 Newton person in Tianhai City, if something happened in the middle of the ocean, the chances of escape would be very difficult. They drove closer to the ice surface, and finally before them, they saw the deep blue sea. The bubbles gently swayed on the sea, and at the boundary of the ice surface, frozen bubbles and a layer of ice could still be seen spreading. Even at a temperature of -10 degrees, it is impossible for the deep sea to freeze because of the high salt content in seawater. Ocean currents constantly flowing along with volcanic activity beneath the ocean floor prevent the water temperature from reaching the freezing point of seawater. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and cautiously approached the water's surface. He then opened his superpower space. In that space, he had prepared a large area to collect seawater. Zhang Yi shouted, "Space portal." Two massive spatial doors appeared on the surface of the water, beginning to suck in large amounts of seawater into the superpower space like a water pump. They needed an extremely large quantity of seawater, at least several tens of millions of cubic meters. Zhang Yi continuously siphoned seawater at the ocean's edge. This process was a bit dull, so he decided to sit by the beach with everyone and admire the ocean. Uncle Wang, exhaling into his palm, said, "If I had known earlier, I would have brought my fishing rod. Fishing here is sure to be a wonderful experience." It wasn't just Uncle Wang who felt this way. Even Zhang Yi wanted to fish here and enjoy the beauty of nature. What used to be ordinary now seemed particularly precious. Zhang Yi smiled and said, "Hearing you say that, I suddenly had an idea. Why don't we create a fish pond at home and then raise some seafood? What do you think?" During the process of collecting seawater, they inadvertently caught some sea fish. These fish could then be kept and raised in the fish pond. The main purpose was not to eat them, but to have fun by fishing. Chunlei was excited about this idea. "Brother Zhang, why don't we consider building a seaside resort here? Perhaps by that time, Zhao Yu's base will be destroyed by the zombie group. We could then occupy their headquarters, take their boat, and perhaps even set sail further out." Zhang Yi said with a bright smile. His laughter echoed across the vast ice surface, traveling far away. Everyone who heard of this plan had bright eyes, their gazes igniting like blazing flames. Say sail to go far, they would have the chance to drift across the boundless sea. This was completely different from having to hide and be constrained every day. For them, at this moment, the temptation was truly overwhelming. However, if Zhang Yi said, "But now we need to first address the current issues. Zhao Yu's ship is something I also long for." Zhang Yi had a deep intention with this thought aimed at further development. Because in the future, if the air temperature rises and the ice melts, the city of Tianhai would definitely be flooded. To prepare for the future, he certainly needed a large boat that could withstand the waves. This group of people chatted and laughed as they left the shore, then got into a car and drove away. Let's go, the preparation stage is no less important. They did not realize that right where they had just stopped, beneath the ice, a large dark shadow was slowly creeping out because it was so gigantic that no one noticed. The people urged each other to move towards the car. "Ah, let's go!" When Zhang Yi and his group returned to the shelter, it was already quite late. However, Zhang Yi did not delay, not even taking time for dinner. He immediately went to find Lu Qiran. "I have finished collecting the seawater. The next step is sedimentation. Are your materials ready?" Lu Qiran nodded. "These materials are nothing special. They are already prepared." Then she showed Zhang Yi hundreds of plastic containers in her office. "This is the sediment. When dropped into seawater, it will help the seawater rapidly separate salt so that it can quickly freeze. The most important thing is to remove the large amount of salt from the water. Only when the salt concentration is low can the water freeze quickly at low temperatures. Then during the process when you act, I can also provide additional freezing agents to help the seawater freeze faster." Lu Qiran added that it would take at least 2 days to properly prepare these things. Zhang Yi replied, "Great, We will wait during those 2 days. This morning, Zhang Yi was awakened from a dream. The artificial intelligence system of the house sent an urgent notification to Zhang Yi. Warning, warning. The hideout is under attack. Current damage level is 0.00001%. The attack is still ongoing. Please quickly address the damage issue. Zhang Yi thought in panic. What? The hideout is under continuous attack. Could it be that those zombies have come? He was not too worried about those zombies because with their method of attack, they could not cause significant harm to the hideout. He got up from the bed and quickly moved toward the window. At that moment, he saw countless claws digging at the surface of the hideout. The window close to the ground had been completely covered. Zhang Yi carefully observed and finally realized what they were. They were rats from deep within the subway. They had never appeared before, but this time, it seemed that Zhang Yi and his group had killed too many of their kind, which had made them angry and joined the zombie attack. The sound continuously rang in Zhang Yi's ears, causing a bit of pain. He cursed quietly. These damn rats have come here. What a piece of trash. The large rats had no particular strengths, but their teeth were extremely sharp, capable of shredding even combat clothing. Therefore, when the area around the hideout was filled with large rats, they have a significant impact on the defense system. Zhang Yi felt his hair stand on end. Considering the number of these large rats, although they couldn't quickly penetrate the defense, over the years they would definitely create a large burrow. Even if they couldn't break through, they would make the wall riddled with holes and then shatter it. Through the outside camera, he saw countless rats crowded around their hideout. Now, opening the door to the outside had become difficult. Zhang Yi quickly put on his jacket. This time, the scale of the zombie group and the rat swarm they were facing was clearly much larger than before. The Zombie King was truly furious. This was a warning for Zhang Yi and his team, as well as a deeper exploration. As long as the number of zombies was large enough, they could not be completely exterminated by Zhang Yi and his team in one go. Thus, there would always be surviving zombies that returned, conveying Zhang Yi's fighting methods to the Zombie King. Gradually, the Zombie King would become smarter, and the zombies under his command would grow stronger, leaving Zhang Yi increasingly passive. Zhang Yi immediately called Chun Lai, Uncle Lang, and Lang Yu to go outside and deal with the rats. The four of them, along with a cat, began to wipe out the zombie group and the rat swarm in the vast area. Zhang Yi looked at the rats and said, "If we let these giant rats continue to attack the shelter, I fear that in no more than 2 years, the shelter will be destroyed by them." Zhang Yi coldly stated, "We need to wait for 2 more days." Zhang Yi and his group's situation is relatively good. They have not suffered any casualties and their hiding place has not sustained severe damage. However, other forces have faced heavy casualties. Zhao Yu's base even had to retreat from their stronghold at the port and hide on a large ship at sea, using it to evade the zombie attacks. The port was only a temporary landing place for them. Whiting had looked at the zombies and concluded, the zombies are becoming increasingly organized in their movements, even resembling a disciplined army. Although abandoning the port means losing a large supply of containers, it is the only way we can achieve long-term development. He thought to himself, other forces do not have the advantages we do. They are likely to suffer relatively terrible losses. The most disastrous situation is that of the Worship the Snow sect. They do not even have a solid defensive line to withstand the zombie attacks. They can only gather everyone and bring the majority of their followers into the large castle. Next, they set up a few defensive pillars on the outskirts to launch counterattacks. Every day, a large number of their followers are losing their lives. However, for Worship the Snow sect, the invasion of giant rats and the zombie horde brought an unexpected benefit. They had been suffering from food shortages, but these giant rats, once killed, could provide enough food for one person for several days. In times like this, they did not care whether the rats carried a virus. As long as they could fill their stomachs with one meal, it was considered a blessing. 2 days passed quickly. In the superpower space of Zhang Yi, a large amount of seawater had completed the sedimentation process, effectively separating out a significant amount of white salt. Zhang Yi extracted these impure salts. At this time, the salt content in the seawater had decreased considerably. Zhang Yi remarked, although it is still not comparable to fresh water, it is now much easier to freeze. Now Zhang Yi can proceed with his plan. Zhang Yi had asked Liu Keiran to prepare several dozen barrels of freezing agent, as well as a large amount of explosives. Zhang Yi and his combat team were ready to leave their hiding place. The young man with a confident look said, "Let's depart immediately. We can execute the previous plan." Zhang Yi and his combat team boarded the snowmobile and left the hideout. They did not head straight to Saijiulu Yuan Station, but first went towards the final station, Saint-Zouan. The goal was to completely freeze the zombies and the rat horde in the subway. Their first step was to completely destroy Saint-Zouan Station to block their escape route. The amount of explosives required to destroy a subway station was not too large. After placing the explosives, they ran far away and activated them. Chun-Li shouted, "The explosives are ready." Zhang Yi raised his hand to signal he was ready while thinking to himself, if he wanted to bring these zombies along with the rats to a complete death in the subway, he first needed to block all retreat routes. The first step was to make Song Zhuang explode completely. The young man began to press the button to activate the explosives. The explosion sounded, the ground quickly collapsed, burying the subway station under snow and soil. Chun-Li asked, "Brother Zhang, what if the Zombie King detects the danger early and runs away?" Zhang Yi shook his head indifferently. "If it runs, that would be for the best. My original goal is not to kill the Zombie King. I just want to ensure that there is no threat around our hiding place. As long as it's not close to our hideout, it doesn't matter to me whether it lives or dies." Liang Yu frowned and worriedly said, "But if the other forces are wiped out, the entire city of Tianhai will be overrun by zombies and rat swarms. Can we only care for ourselves?" Liang Yu, as a teacher, always had a leap in thinking that went beyond conventional norms. Zhang Yi smiled. "It seems you are overthinking. With our abilities, we can only protect ourselves. The deeper you think, the more serious your fears will become. According to your analysis, it is possible that one day the entire blue star will be destroyed by the virus. If so, what can we do about it? There is no need to worry too far ahead. First, focus on surviving in every current situation. As for other issues, we can only entrust them to fate. We cannot possess the strength to think about everything at a higher level." Zhang Yi stood calmly and said, "When I am wealthy, I must also be responsible for everyone's work, but when I am poor, I only worry about myself. Right now, what concerns me most is the latter." Lian Yu no longer argued. She knew that Zhang Yi's words made sense. Then Zhang Yi moved towards the entrance of Sijulu Yuan. He opened the superpower spatial door and began pouring large amounts of seawater into the subway entrance. With a crash, a massive amount of seawater poured down. The powerful flow surged through the long and narrow tunnel. At this rate, in just 3 hours, the entire seawater released could cover the entire tunnel. Perhaps the rats in the subway sensed the danger and sought a way to escape early, but most were swept away by the flood, even freezing to death on the spot. As for the zombies hibernating in there, they will not wake up unless they encounter a living person or receive a directive from the Zombie King. No matter the situation they face, they are quickly overwhelmed by the Russian water. Zhang Yi's goal is to eliminate most of the zombies and the rats. Even if a few manage to escape, as long as their numbers are not significant, they will not pose a threat to his group. In the subway tunnel, the powerful floodwaters continue to sweep through, rising like a large river during a flood. The rising water gradually covers the gaps in the tunnel where the rats are hiding, and it also covers the zombies hibernating in the damp mud of the tunnel. Then Zhang Yi began to open the large container that Liu Keiran had made for him, filled with a clear liquid. When this gel is poured into the water, the purified seawater begins to freeze. Quickly, a layer of ice spreads deep into the water, and the large zombies and rats still struggling in the water are rapidly frozen solid. The large rats emit panicked cries, then quickly head towards areas that have not yet been flooded. They can now move faster than the Russian water. Soon, most of the rats are swept away. A few rats manage to escape, crawling out from the entrance of the tunnel. But without their habitat, these rats cannot survive long in conditions below -60 degrees. They are forced to seek a suitable environment to live. Half a day passed in the blink of an eye, and now the entire Sijulu Yuan line had been completely frozen. Zhang Yi dusted off his hands. Our problem can now be considered solved. Even though some zombies and large rats managed to escape, it's no big deal. Even if the Zombie King wasn't killed, it's not an issue. Even if the armored zombie group survive, that's unimportant. Whether it's zombies or rat swarms, they only pose a threat because of their large numbers. When separated, even armored zombies with their combat power are not enough to worry Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi smiled and said to everyone, "Next, we take a break for a while. As for the troubles with the zombies and the rat swarms, let other forces deal with that." Uncle Wang, Liang Yu, and Chun-Li exchanged glances, and a light smile of relief appeared on their faces. The major problem, unexpectedly, was solved so simply by Zhang Yi. Uncle Wang couldn't help but exclaim, "Superpowers from the space system are indeed powerful." Liang Yu asked, "So, what will we do next?" Zhang Yi coldly replied, "What do we do now? What else is there to do? Of course we continue to fight endlessly." He always acted carefully, never leaving opportunities for the enemy. Even though the entire subway tunnel had been frozen, there were certainly still some remnants of enemies left in the tunnels. These enemies could escape outside. Fortunately, they would be creatures with strong vitality, whether zombies or rats. These were all significant threats to us. Having come this far, we cannot do nothing. We should kill as many as possible. Zhang Yi took out a gun and loaded it. With the sound of death, he raised the gun and said to everyone, "Let's go, we will kill as many as possible. Finally, it's time for another cleanup, and then we will finish the job." Everyone had no objections because this time it was mainly Zhang Yi taking action. They just stood by and observed. Therefore, at this moment, they all still had a lot of energy and spirit. Zhang Yi and his team rushed towards the group of zombies and rats at the entrance of the subway. Many large rats were dying and zombies were running outside. Unsurprisingly, they wiped out this bunch. Following that, 4 gigantic armored zombies crawled out of the subway. Soon after, the Zombie King also crawled out slowly. It was angry inside as the tunnel had been completely destroyed. The Zombie King thought to itself, all the zombies in the tunnel were attacked in vain as it received orders to continuously nurture the group of zombies here, expand their numbers, and ultimately annihilate everything. At this moment, it did not know what to do next. 4 gigantic armored zombies surrounded a small humanoid creature. This creature was covered in white fur, and no one could imagine that this ugly, seemingly weak being was the Zombie King, the commander of the entire group of zombies in the subway tunnel. Suddenly, a sound reached Zombie King's ears. It immediately recognized that it was a new command from its master. It quickly decided to turn around, slowly heading north. The 4 animal zodiac companions followed suit, each taking steps towards the north. At the Yangsheng base, Xiao Hong Lion acted ruthlessly. She ordered the digging of deep trenches around the base and then poured large amounts of crude oil into them. Xiao Hong Lion urged, "Hurry up, be a bit quicker." Whenever the horde of zombies and rats attacked, they would ignite the oil in the trenches. Instantly, a wall of fire 4 to 5 meters high would engulf the entire oil refinery. This fierce fire would thoroughly incinerate the zombies and rats. Fire is the most effective method of attack against zombies and rats. However, currently, fuel is extremely scarce, and what Xiao Hong Lion was doing was very extravagant. She looked at the burning flames and the zombies and thought to herself, such defense results in far fewer casualties and losses. As to the fuel consumed, who said, "I have ample oil resources in my hands," therefore, they can still endure this level of consumption. On Zhang Yi's side, the situation was also far from ideal. The steelworkers and loggers at Xing Tian's base, with the support of their abilities, had become formidable warriors. They relied on weapons such as iron staffs, heavy hammers, and other heavy weaponry to fight against the zombies. Xing Tian looked at his teammates and thought to himself, every day they have to fight countless zombies, their strength is being severely depleted. Later, Xing Tian was forced to lead the remaining subordinates into a shelter deep underground. He thought temporarily leaving the steel factory and equipment for the zombies is not a problem. The zombies do not use that equipment, nor do they destroy their living areas, as they only care about human flesh. In the living room, Yang Xin rolled over on a cart to inform Zhang Yi, "Brother Zhang Yi, there is a very important package here that needs your attention." Yang Xin handed the computer to Zhang Yi. His eyes also grew eager. "Ha, what happened? Let me see." Zhang Yi focused on the screen and suddenly noticed an email. The content of the letter is, "The special staff of the Jiangnan headquarters has arrived in Tianhai City. You are invited to the buildings of Tianhai City at exactly 2:30 p.m. this afternoon." The guest list includes Xing Weinan from the King Fu shelter, Xiao Hong Lian from the Yangsheng shelter, Wai Dinghe from the Zhao Yu shelter, Yuan Kong Yi, the leader of the worship, the Snow Sect, along with Zhang Yi, who holds no specific title, with the signature of the Jiangnan Military District at the bottom. Upon seeing this letter, Zhang Yi's eyes widened. Jiangnan Military District, isn't that the headquarters of one of the top 5 military forces of Huaxia in Jinling? For the people of Huaxia, this is basic knowledge. The 5 military forces of Huaxia represent the strongest military power of the nation. In peacetime, they are the backbone of the country. After the apocalypse, they remain the solid foundation of Huaxia. Regarding the strength of the Jiangnan headquarters, there is no need to discuss further. The reason Zhang Yi was able to win in the previous situation, which destroyed the Taishan base, in part, was thanks to the support of a missile from the Jiangnan headquarters. The Jiangnan headquarters could, if it wished, wipe Tianhai City off the map in an instant. How can Zhang Yi not feel fear in the face of such a formidable power? Yang Xin nodded. "That's right, we are confident that it is them." Zhang Yi frowned. "How can we be sure that this package is really sent by them, and not a prank or some kind of scheme?" Yang Xin nodded. "Indeed, I believe it must be them. Mr. Zhang, I can assure you that this package definitely came from the Jiangnan headquarters because our internet system is protected by a strong firewall. Anyone who wants to contact us needs to be approved. If I do not permit it, their information cannot be transmitted. This package has bypassed the firewall I set up and reached our mailbox directly." There are only two types of people who could do this. The first is a hacker who got past me, and the second is a higher authority in the internet sector. Clearly, in Huaxia, no one can achieve this in a short time without being detected by Sin. Therefore, I can conclude that this package definitely comes from the Jiangnan headquarters. Sin continued, "It's just unclear what their purpose is for suddenly coming to Tianhai this time. I suspect it may be related to the zombie issue." Zhang Yi became serious. They really can do that. This means that our network system is also not safe. Yang Sin disagreed and said with a laugh, "Their real hideout is the intranet, using independent servers with no contact with the outside world, making it impossible to breach." Zhang Yi sighed, his eyes filled with worry. He felt that this issue was becoming more challenging to resolve. With the intervention of external forces along with the overwhelming power of the gigantic monsters from the 5 major forces in Tianhai City, the situation was becoming uncontrollable. Zhang Yi speculated, "I feel that their arrival this time may be related to the current zombies. After all, the zombie scale is too large and its origin is mysterious. If left unchecked, nearly 20 million corpses in Tianhai City might turn into a massive horde of zombies. Not to mention that among the zombies are mixed terrifying monsters. Once the zombies, along with the rat swarm, spread to other cities, it will become an uncontrollable disaster." Yang Sin nodded. From this letter, it could be seen that they were fully aware of the situation in Tianhai City. Therefore, when they specifically named individuals, they accurately pointed out each leader of every faction. Zhang Yi held his head, leaning against the sofa in deep thought for a moment. "I think we should make a trip there. It's unnecessary to make enemies with a rising military district." He spoke slowly. "Considering the computing power of other entities in Tianhai City, it is very unlikely that they would set a trap. However, from a safety perspective, I will still bring along the strongest armed forces possible to ensure maximum safety." Zhang Yi was not overly concerned about safety. Currently, the entire Tianhai City, apart from his own family, had significantly weakened other forces. Zhang Yi and his team could venture out, and no matter which force they faced, they would not encounter great danger. Therefore, Zhang Yi called everyone to gather in the living room and announced this news. Upon hearing that someone from the Jiangnan headquarters was coming to Tianhai City, people had various reactions. Some were excited while others were worried. Chunlai, one of the worried ones, stepped to Zhang Yi. "We are currently living steadily. The appearance of a new force could change our current circumstances." Zhang Yi shook his head, disagreeing with Chunlai. "Although Tianhai City is a port city with abundant resources, what we have is insignificant in the eyes of the Jiangnan headquarters. Even if I were to gather all the stock in the supermarket, those supplies would still be unimportant to the Jiangnan headquarters. Jiangnan has always been the most bustling trading area. The Jiangnan headquarters controls the entire area without freight fees, and in terms of supplies, they definitely do not lack. For an ordinary person, the extremely cold climate can cause many difficulties, including a shortage of essential supplies. However, for a headquarters with enormous energy, these issues can be easily resolved." After hearing the explanation from Zhang Yi, Chun-Li gradually felt more at ease. "If that's the case, then it's really good. I was just worried that our current peaceful life would be disrupted. Those who are living comfortably always dislike any changes happening." Zhang Yi understood this well. Uncle Wang, someone with a military background, is even more steadfast, Uncle Wang added. "I think we should trust them. The Jiangnan headquarters is a leadership area, and they certainly wouldn't want to see a major city like Tianhai become a chaotic place overrun by zombies." Zhang Yi nodded. "I hope so too. In a situation where zombies are besieging the city, everyone hopes for higher level forces to come and help them overcome their current difficulties. Although our hiding place is not greatly affected at the moment, living in a large city like this, no one can be sure about the future." Zhang Yi nodded again. "Therefore, if there is a thorough solution to the zombie problem, that would be the best. We have received this news, and we must verify it no matter what." He then turned to Yang Sin. "You are responsible for monitoring the network. Even though we can ascertain that the parcel is from the Jiangnan headquarters, we still need to guard against any unforeseen schemes." Despite the low likelihood of this, Zhang Yi still carefully instructed Yang Sin. In the city of Tianhai, in the Tianfeng area, the investigation team from the Jiangnan headquarters has arrived at the center of the skyscraper. The buildings, once a symbol of grandeur and majesty, are now largely covered in snow, with only half of them visible. The upper parts are also piled high with snow. Without an accurate positioning system, they would likely have struggled to find this place. Bian Junwu and his team got out of the vehicle. The snowmobile, specially designed for their mission, stopped just outside the buildings. Looking at the structures nearly buried in snow, Deputy Captain Bai Lai Chang King scratched his head and said, "I never expected this place to turn out like this. It really is a mess." There must have been a lot of people here back then, and everything got complicated. At this moment, Woody stepped out, a relaxed smile on his face. It's fine, I just need to tidy up a bit. He extended his right hand toward the distant buildings, and a sphere of golden light slowly appeared in his palm. Then the sphere shot forward like a projectile with a loud explosion. As the bright white sphere passed through, the thick layer of snow was instantly cleared away. In the blink of an eye, all the snow in front of everyone had been removed, revealing a round pathway. After completing this task, Wu Di, still smiling, approached Bian Junwoo and politely gestured for him to come forward. "Captain, please come right in." On Bian Junwoo's face, there was no special expression as he led the way to the central building. Bai Lai Chang King followed closely behind, with the others trailing in order. From their walking arrangement, one could see the position of each person in the team. First was the team leader Bian Junwoo, followed by Vice Captain Bai Lai Chang King, Wu Pi in third place, and then the virus expert Meng Sai Yu alongside Qi Guangming. In the investigation team, anyone represented the top force of major powers, especially the two team leaders along with Wu Di. Their abilities reached at least the level of base leaders, if not higher. At the same time, each force brought a portion of its combat forces to the central building to meet the investigation team. The first to arrive was from Yang Sheng's base. Co Hong Lion had come with a group of subordinates. Meanwhile, at the main base, Juge King Ting took on the role of staying behind to command. Upon arriving at the central building, she noticed the difference of the off-road vehicle compared to others. There was only one vehicle, suggesting that the headquarters did not send many people here. Co Hong Lion felt a weight on her shoulders. She understood the threat level posed by the zombies. Unless a large military force was sent to resolve the issue, it would be very difficult to completely handle it. But how many people could this vehicle carry? Although feeling a bit lost, Co Hong Lian still decided to move forward and meet the investigation team. In her heart, she thought this might just be the vanguard, and later on, more combat personnel would come here. Co Hong Lian led her group toward the center of the building. As they approached, she noticed a long ice corridor over 100 meters and 10 meters deep. This is... Co Hong Lian bent down, gently feeling the shape of the icy corridor. Its twisted shape was not created by machinery, but seemed to have been made by someone's punch. The surface was extremely smooth and glossy. Clearly, this was the work of someone with extraordinary abilities, a top expert in the field, and also a high-level mutant from Tianhai City. Co Hong Lian instinctively understood the power of this technique. She couldn't help but admire, thinking that there were masters among these individuals. Then she led her group to continue toward the center of the building. As they approached the main door, a man in uniform stepped out. His gaze seemed to be smiling, but it was not a smile directed at them. Woody asked with a proud expression, "Which organization are you from?" The arrogant expression on his face made the team from Yangsheng base feel indignant, wanting to rush over and attack him. Co Hong Lian frowned. "We come from Yangsheng base. I am the leader, Co Hong Lian." Woody's gaze remained fixed on Co Hong Lian. He calmly raised his hand and said, "Co Hong Lian, former team leader of the Criminal Investigation Unit of Tianhai City. Welcome." Co Hong Lian slightly furrowed her brow, sensing the deeper meaning in the other person's words. They were well aware of her information. She wondered inwardly if this was their way of taking the initiative right from the start. Woody sidestepped and said to Co Hong Lian, "Please come in, but only you can enter. The others must wait outside." Co Hong Lian did not refuse and turned back to tell her subordinates, "You all wait for me outside." A mutant person team leader whispered to her, "Leader, could this be a trap?" Co Hong Lian coldly laughed, confidently raising one finger and replied, "Even if it's a deception, I want to go and no one can stop me." Not long after the Yangsheng base personnel arrived, a second group from Zhao base also came. Wai Jinghe was extremely cautious, even bringing along his strongest assistant, Chen Jingguan. After all, during this time, due to continuous defeats in battle and ambushes by zombies, Wai Dinghe felt overwhelmed. Wu Di similarly blocked the doorway, allowing only Wai Dinghe to enter alone. "I'm sorry, only invited guests may enter." Chen Jingguan immediately showed his displeasure. "What do you have to be suspicious about? Afraid that we will do something more than you?" Wu Di always appeared arrogant, making no one feel comfortable after the encounter. In Tianhai City, Chen Jingguan was also an important figure, so he did not care about Wu Di's attitude. Although Wu Di was a well-known figure at the Jiangnan headquarters, this was Tianhai City where they were standing. Did those who came here consider themselves important figures, not realizing they were like dragons wanting to trample on snakes? Hearing Chen Jingguan's words, the mocking expression on Wu Di's face became even more pronounced. "We only want to talk to the leaders of the other factions. So, are you really the leader of the Zhao Yu base?" Chen Jingguan's face immediately changed. His leader, Wai Dinghe, who was right beside him, spoke up. Let's set aside such provocative and divisive tricks. We come here with sincere intentions. If you only want to speak with me, then I will step forward myself. What's wrong with that? Wai Tinghe, known as the Ice and Snow Lord, possessed extremely strong abilities with comprehensive offense and defense, having almost no weaknesses. Therefore, he was not worried about being targeted by anyone. Moreover, with Xiao Hong Lion arriving from the Yangsheng base, he could not show any sign of weakness. Wai Dinghe gently patted Chen Jingguan's shoulder. You guys wait outside. I will handle everything. He glanced warningly at Chen Jingguan. This person is a master. Do not confront him. Chen Jingguan felt his body stiffen with no choice but to nod yes. Wai Dinghe, with a cold expression, walked into the central building. Inside, he was also on guard, secretly observing everything around him. Chen Jingguan watched him go, clicking his tongue in apparent worry. Not long after these two brutes arrived, Zhang Yi and his teammates followed. From a distance, they saw the vehicles and soldiers, realizing that the people from the Yangsheng and Zhao bases had arrived first. Zhang Yi mumbled while checking his gold-plated gun. The earth is still round. I hope these people can stay calm. In the recent battle, Zhao Yu and Yangsheng bases had suffered heavy losses. It was likely that by now they were particularly hostile towards Zhang Yi. In this negotiation, the relationship between the two sides was very complex, and a single wrong word could lead to conflict. Zhang Yi was prepared to face them. Indeed, as soon as Zhang Yi and his teammates got out of the car, the atmosphere at the scene immediately became tense as if a bow had been drawn and a sword was ready to be unsheathed. The soldiers from Zhao Yu base and Yangsheng base looked at them with anxious eyes as if they were about to erupt, but also contained a deep apprehension. They thought to themselves, it's Zhang Yi's group. After the horrifying battle last time, everyone realized that Zhang Yi's team possesses extraordinarily strong combat capabilities and should not be easily provoked. Zhang Yi, with his hands in his pockets and holding a golden gun, maintained a high level of vigilance. His presence made Wu Di pay extra attention. Wu Di had heard many rumors about Zhang Yi and only began to gather information about him after learning they would be arriving in Tianhai. After all, this person had risen from a struggling management employee to build a career, confronted many powerful forces, and ultimately became one of the 5 great powers of Tianhai, deserving of attention. As Zhang Yi and his teammates approached the front of the central building, they also saw the passage that Wu Di had opened. Zhang Yi realized that this action was merely a warning to let everyone here know how powerful the emissary from the Jiangnan headquarters was. Are you Zhang Yi? Go in yourself. The others should wait outside, Wu Di said. Hearing Wu Di's voice, a natural smile appeared on Zhang Yi's face. I'll write as you wish. When he saw the soldiers from the 2 bases waiting outside, Zhang Yi had anticipated this outcome. After all, this negotiation was among the leaders of major forces, and there couldn't be too many noisy people barging in. Zhang Yi asked Uncle Wang and the others to wait outside for a moment. If they feel cold, they can sit in the car and wait. He slowly walked into the central building. Wu Di's gaze constantly followed Zhang Yi, almost never leaving him. Zhang Yi felt somewhat uncomfortable with that stare. Not every man enjoys being stared at by another man. He even began to question Wu Di's sexual orientation. Please tell me which room the meeting is in. Wu Di's expression showed regret. As one of the top mutant persons at the Jiangnan headquarters, this was his first time coming to this city for a mission. Therefore, it was natural for him to want to test himself against the top mutant person here. He quickly replied to Zhang Yi, the meeting room is on the 5th floor, to the left, the 3rd room. Ah, thank you. Zhang Yi smiled and then left. Zhang Yi followed Wu Di's instructions to go upstairs. On the way up, he encountered some members of the investigation team, each standing in advantageous positions within the castle to easily observe all directions and ready to assist if a conflict arose. Zhang Yi sensed a refined aura from them. He thought to himself, indeed, those sent from the Jiangnan headquarters are outstanding figures. With these thoughts, Zhang Yi arrived at the meeting room indicated by Wu Di. He opened the door and stepped inside. The meeting room was spacious, with a large red table in the center. When Zhang Yi entered, everyone turned to look at him. Among them were 2 familiar faces, Xiao Hong Lian and Wai Dinghe. They regarded Zhang Yi with a mixture of apprehension and annoyance in their eyes. However, what caught Zhang Yi's attention the most was the middle-aged man wearing a black coat and sunglasses sitting in the main seat. Zhang Yi wondered if he was blind, as he was still wearing sunglasses indoors. Zhang Yi found it amusing to think about wearing sunglasses in such a situation. It seemed a bit ridiculous, but he also did not rule out the possibility that the man had some special preference. Zhang Yi smiled and introduced himself. Hello, I am Zhang Yi. What are your names? Based on the perspective that one should not show hostility when meeting for the first time, Zhang Yi maintained a friendly demeanor and did not come across as arrogant. Bayan Junwoo couldn't help but respond. He lowered his arm and said coldly, "My name is Bayan Junwoo, responsible for investigating the zombie situation for the Jiangnan headquarters this time." Zhang Yi forced a smile. "So it's you, Bayan. Nice to meet you." After the polite greeting, Zhang Yi found a seat and didn't say anything more. Everyone was silent. No one spoke further. They were not there to make small talk, each with their own purpose. They just needed to wait for the other two groups to arrive before starting the conversation. A moment later, Sing Tian from the Fanbo base arrived at the conference room. He laughed heartily. "I'm a bit late. Please excuse me." Bian Junwoo replied, "Just have a seat." Then he sat down near Zhang Yi. "How have you been, old friend? How's everything on your end? Those hard-to-kill zombies and those rats must have been quite a headache for you." Zhang Yi frowned, his voice turned low. "Don't mention it. Every day we have to deal with those. It's getting really tiresome." After saying that, he leaned back on the sofa and sighed. "If this continues, my hideout won't hold out much longer."